You are listening to the Crazybrave Songwriter podcast. This is a podcast about the magic of making music, one song at a time. My name is Lisa M. Arreguin. I'm happy to be your host for today. Welcome to my second season of the Crazybrave Songwriter podcast, where I'm going to have a chance to stretch out and talk about super important and meaningful concerns for all artists. The focus for the season is wellness for creatives. If you are a musician, singer, songwriter, painter, or dancer, then I'll be loading up the season with information on how to deal with our runaway brains, how to work with our ever-changing moods, and offer some coping strategies to deal with it all. And we'll get a chance to hear from musical artists who speak about these things as they create new music too. If some of you don't already know, before I began my career as a songwriter and business owner, I earned my master's degree in psychology. I was always interested in the creative brain and why I think the way I do. So let's move forward together this season and see what we can learn about ourselves. On today's show, I have the pleasure of speaking with the incredible and talented Francisco Loyo, Grammy-Award-winning keyboardist, songwriter, producer, arranger, and composer. Francisco walks us through his touring years with the international recording artist LUIS Miguel when he was working as his musical director, arranger, and contributing songwriter. We get a chance to hear what it's like to write a song when you have an impending professional deadline, the amazing experience of performing in front of thousands, and how best to navigate music as a writer. Today we are highlighting Francisco's original song, Lyle, which is a deeply rich piece with jazz and classical influences. We get to hear Francisco tell us about how he wrote Lyle, a little about the amazing artists he commissioned for the project, and his philosophy about songwriting and his spiritual connection to music. Make sure to stay tuned until the end, and I'll give you my 5-point breakdown about what I learned by talking to the great Francisco Loyo.
Check 1 2, check 1 2. Testing.
Hi, Francisco. I am so happy to have you on our Crazybrave Songwriter podcast. This is amazing. I'm so honored to have you here because of your history, because of your songwriting ability, because of who you are. And so I'm just anxious and happy to talk about all the things it takes to be a musician in the business and mostly how you write. Where do songs come from, Francisco? Where do they come from, and how do you specifically get the idea for songs, and what's your process?
Wow. Lisa, just to start with this, thank you so much. It's quite an honor to be here with you. You guys are so musical, so talented. You, your husband, just a wonderful family. And it's an honor being here with you. So where the ideas come from? A lot of it is just a mystery, we really don't know how it works, And I would say that songwriting and music writing is basically a lifestyle. You dream about, you want to write music. You have fire inside yourself. I want to write songs. I want to write nice songs, And it's something that you have every single day. And you have to dedicate yourself, as much as you can.
I think what you say about the fire.
Yes.
To me, that is a prayer.
Absolutely.
So because it comes with energy to
Yes.
it. And that energy has to go somewhere.
Yes.
And so maybe our desire turns into a prayer that
Yes.
ends up being how we trigger some idea, maybe. I don't know. I'm just, thinking about it.
You put it in a beautiful way. That fire is when you're praying, when you're really praying. You're asking for something that you really want, right? So yeah, it's kind of like a prayer, Like I said, you gotta be very constant. You have to be very perseverant. And, we were talking about when the situation comes when you need to write something for a specific artist. That is, the phone call has a lot to do with just setting it up okay, this is it. I have this responsibility. I have to come up with a song for this artist. And I'm not talking about famous or not, just whoever you like, you like the way he or she performs, and you got that opportunity to come up with ideas. That's just starting right there. So you analyze this artist, the type of songs that are good for him, the ones that you like. Once you study that, you make yourself a plan of the song that you think would be good for him or her. And that's it. Sometimes it's kind of like suffering. I mean, it's not easy, it's like, oh my God. And the whole day or 2 days pass and you got nothing, There has been situations like that. I remember I had a deadline for a song or a week, and the first 5 days I didn't have nothing.
Wow.
And the sixth day, I mean, it's like eventually, boom, the song came, but I was
you were sweating.
I was on the mind for,
Yes.
hacking at those rocks for days and hours and hours.
So you were sending prayers up and prayers
basically,
up and prayers
yes,
basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, please, give me something.
Until eventually the
Wow.
song came, and that the hook came, and boom, it's like, I got, and it's, oh my God. Well, I can just, Lisa, you're a songwriter yourself. When you got your song, when you got that hook, but you have this fish inside, and you try to cut one right there, and you got it, but just the little
right. You just got the tail.
Yeah, that tail right
and
there,
it's trying to get away from you. So tell me a little bit about how you came to the keyboard and your family, and I know you have other brothers and sisters
Yes.
that are in the business.
Yes.
What did that feel like, and how come you picked keyboard over anything else?
My father, just a great guy that I love, but he didn't want us to be musicians. But he was a music lover, big time. He could easily be a musician. And because of him, all my classical music that I love to, like Bach, Mozart, it's because of my dad, Anyway, we are musicians, myself, Francisco, my brother Victor, and my brother Salo. We are musicians because of my older brother, Gabriel. It was a process that was difficult for the family. But thanks to my brother, we became musicians. It was in the DNA. I don't know. My grandfather was a musician, and it was pretty tough to make a living as a musician, So my father knew how difficult the career was, Anyway, my love for classical music came from my dad. And then the Beatles, like Chicago, Earth, Wind and Fire and all that. And we were just like so in love with music from the start. Since I was a kid, there is a songwriter, a genius that wrote music for kids. Peter and the Wolf, I think is kind of like that. So yeah, I started pretty late on piano, but I started playing guitar when I was 8, and I wanted to be a classical guitar player and a bass player, because of Greg Lake. That's another of my heroes in Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Anyway, so I'm sorry, Lisa, I'm going this other.
It's okay, because what you're describing are all your influences.
Yes.
And the influences sometimes dictate your music like you don't even know it.
Totally. We borrow from some others. We have the influence, not intentionally, but sometimes an idea comes like, man, it kind of sounds like.
But I'll bend it
I
this way,
bend, exactly.
And then it'll be mine.
So I don't believe in that you're going to come up with something that was not influenced by nobody,
Right.
It's like a chain, that goes.
That it's a chain. We bring in the ancestors of all the music that touches us and moves through us and will move past us to the next generation. Yeah.
All our musical experiences, all our love for music, the songs that we love, all that is right there. We don't even know. We might be influenced by a song that we cannot really recall, but we were influenced.
It ends up in our music somewhere. So tell me, you toured for many years with Luis Miguel.
Yes.
And were his musical director.
Well, the Luis Miguel experience was just a fantastic experience. I'm extremely fortunate that, that I spent 24 years and 20 years as a musical director with this incredible talent, incredible singer, a fantastic experience. And I played at Disneyland from 85 till 1990. And at Disneyland, the Tomorrowland Terrace, we had a band there. And Kiko Cibrian was the guitar player. So Kiko got the Luis Miguel gig. And in 93, Victor on drums and myself on keyboards to audition for Luis Miguel. And we auditioned for him in 93. And which I was like, oh my God, I was so nervous that time. And for Luis Miguel, it's like, oh my God, you know. And but we passed the audition, and so we joined that tour. And I mean, I was playing, well, Disneyland, yeah, we played for some audiences, you know what I mean? But it was never, you know, I mean, like you played for thousands of people. It was just some audiences right there. It was kind of a small place. And I remember my first show with Luis Miguel. It was in a stadium, and it was like about between 80,000 and 90,000 people. The responsibility too, because Luis Miguel is an international artist. He has a team of songwriters, arrangers, and everything. So songwriters and arrangers, you know, like Robbie Buchanan, he had for Whitney Houston. This is a big time major arranger. At the time, you know, Robbie's arrangements were pretty elaborate. I mean, it's a lot of work. That's what I'm trying to say. I practiced all those songs for hours and hours to finally feeling comfortable myself on the stage in front of 80,000 people and having him in front with TV cameras sometimes and live.
Plus, it was fully orchestrated. It wasn't like you had a trio. It's like you're the director of that movie.
It is a high-level gig, playing-wise, and making it sound fresh every single night. Very important in those type of situations, the way you play, you feel, your attitude on the stage. You gotta be smiling. You gotta feel very confident. You gotta look at the artist in the eyes, if it comes this way, and smile. And you gotta show that you are in control. But it's not that simple, you know. If you got 80,000 people and you know, there's some piano intros that are a little elaborate. When the up-tempo parts of the songs came, it was more like just having fun playing. But the ballads, there was a lot of intrinsic movements there that, you know, you got to be very precise. So it's a lot of responsibility. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of practicing. We rehearse a lot, each one of us in our houses by ourselves. You know, by the time we got to rehearsals, we already knew the song as a team, you know.
I want to talk a little bit now about this beautiful song, because on the show we highlight one song. Yes. And I want to talk about your song, Lyle. Beautiful song, awesome. I listen to a lot of your music everywhere on the internet, and this one struck me because it felt like it has movements, feels like different personalities almost a little bit. And so I wanted to talk first about some of the segments in there. You have a rhythmic section, you have the opening, yes. You have your voice that is melodic over the top. So yes. Bring me into the song and where it came from and why it's even called Lyle.
The name of the song, Lyle. The song is dedicated to one of my superheroes, Mr. Lyle Mays. He was a major source of inspiration. He has 3 solo albums, and I recommend them. The Lyle Mays albums are just absolutely beautiful, absolutely musical. It's music to meditate, to relax, but very profound. The song is dedicated to him. This is when I was with Luis Miguel, my last tour, and he needed a piece on the middle of the show when he goes and changes. The band performs, you know, something musical until he comes out again. So that was the beginning of the inspiration. Yeah, the song came out, oh my God. I would love to tell you that, like, the beginning of that song, it's like a classical choir. It's very religious music. I sat down and I started with different sounds of the keyboard.
At the first opening, I wasn't sure where the song was going.
Yeah.
Because I know your style of playing. I was like, where is this going? I don't know what the next thing was.
Yeah.
And so it kind of melts into the next movement, which was wonderful. After the opening,
yes,
you added your voice in there.
Yeah.
so that you got this feeling of the choir, of the
Yes.
orchestra.
Yes.
I was in the Catholic Church
Yeah,
in that
exactly.
moment. It brought me into that, and then I
Yeah.
didn't know where you were going after that.
Yes. Well, it so happens that I didn't know where I was going after that either, you know. I was
Right,
like, oh my
right,
God,
right.
where I go. But, and then there is a composer, Igor Stravinsky, that has the Firebird Suite. Fa-ra-ro, i-ra-ro, fa-ra-ro, di-ra-ro. That is like, oh my God, it's like,
As the best.
oh my God, when that part comes, wherever you are, it's like, the full. I mean, God, it's what is very spiritual, it's very profound, you know. So that, I was like, I gotta do, obviously, Stravinsky is, but I gotta copy something like that. So if you check, it's completely inspired on that.
The drummer that you commissioned for this,
Vinny.
Vinny Colaiuta. I looked him up and I was like, oh my gosh, Sting and Frank Zappa.
God. Oh my God.
He's got such a history. What I heard him bring to the song,
God.
was toward the end of the song in particular, I remember his kind of uneven drumming.
He played it like backwards.
So everybody listening, listen to the end of that song
my
because it kind of is a culmination of all those pieces that
Yes.
are coming together in their essence,
Yes.
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I need to say that to me, the fact of having Vinny Colaiuta playing in that track, it has such an immense meaning for me. I grew up listening to him in many other projects. He's another superhero, just like Lyle Mays, Vinny Colaiuta. And having him playing with me in that track is absolutely priceless, It doesn't matter if you make a dime of that money or whatever. It's just the satisfaction. But me as a player, I have always struggled. So eventually to get to the point that I can play with Vinny, and he just made a comment that he liked the piano track. Oh my God. I was like, God, I can die. I can die. There's another composition, like for the listeners, there's another of mine that is called Far Away. And I am playing with Vinny, and I have Randy Brecker of the Brecker Brothers.
The Brecker Brothers.
Oh my God.
boy.
I come from Mexico, and all of a sudden being here in the States, I'm playing with Randy Brecker and with Vinny Colaiuta. It's like, God, like you said, Lisa, you know what? Thank you, I can die. And obviously, after playing with Luis Miguel, oh my God, no, I'm being very fortunate. I've been so unbelievably fortunate.
It's amazing. You've had a magical, beautiful experience on the earth. I think, speaking for myself too,
Yes.
is that the passion of what you have in you draws this to you. I was a little kid banging on the piano as well, and then my friend ended up working at Motown, and then I was up there, and then I met Stevie, and then
Because of your energy.
and you're just because of the energy, and it brings you into places
and your
that
talent,
you would
obviously, took you
never
there.
expect
Yes.
to be and to have met those people.
Hi,
And I was like Earth, Wind, and Fire, my favorite band, next
my
to Sting,
God.
of course. This person to that person to this person met somebody in the band and ended up at their house with Maurice walking in, and
Oh my
God.
God.
And then you're just like, how did I get here?
I believe in guardian angels myself.
Amen.
I believe there's a superior energy right there that is protecting us, checking us, and things. Sometimes we just, how did this happen? Well, you know what? I truly believe that you get connected. You got to meet Maurice and the whole thing because your angel wanted you to memories because of your energy, because of your talent and your passion.
I think it involves action on our part. I can't sit and eat some ice cream in my living room and, meet Maurice White. No. I think it's the action that we put in.
Exactly.
And that's the bravery part of it, because it's all scary. We don't know how it's going to work out. We put our money in it. We put our time in it, you know. Yeah. But that action is translatable to energy.
You get rewarded by your actions, by your work, by being, you're a songwriter. You spend every single day, trying to come up with ideas or practicing and that. And you put in all that passion, all that, and, things are going to happen. And I believe myself, because there's an energy out there. There's angels. The only thing that I can say is perseverance. Practice. It's basically that, Immerse yourself in that world. Don't worry about what is going to happen. Stay in the present, right there in the moment. I want to write the verse of a song, or I want the chorus of the song, or eventually it's going to happen. Eventually God, eventually the universe, what energy you want to call, is going to send it to you, and it's going to come out.
So to all you songwriters and musicians listening out there who are feeling a little bit down about the business, you don't know what to do next, remember that the angels are with you.
Absolutely.
So trust in them and do your work, as small as it may seem to you. Do your work, and you're headed in the right direction.
That's it.
That's it.
If your angel checks that, hey, this guy's putting a lot of work into it. This putting a lot of that. Let's give him something.
Yeah, they're tuned in.
Yeah,
they're tuned in, right?
Yes.
So I want to thank you for all of your wisdom and all the amazing stories, and for I thank you for the Guardian Angels. I want to say thank you to them now for bringing us together for this podcast. And let's now listen to the song Lyle in its entirety. Here's a few cool things I learned from Francisco. Number 1, songwriting can feel like suffering. Writing one song can go on for days and you can still come up empty. But stay with it and keep mining for gold, as Francisco says, looking for that diamond in the rough. Number 2, when we are writing, it's like a chain. The chain of music comes from somewhere, passes into us, and moves out again to affect others in the future. Very cool. Number 3, when we are writing, we naturally examine our inner selves, picking up cues or maybe DNA from the ancestors and from God. Take it seriously. Practice all aspects of your music, from performing on stage to writing great songs. Always do your best. Number 4, with a little passion and love, you will be rewarded by the angels. They are listening. Number 5, passion pulls you forward. It brings song ideas to you, people to you, and situations in front of you that will feel like miracles. When you find what you are passionate about, put action to it, and you will be amazed at what happens next. This is Lisa again, and I want to take this moment to applaud the team at loveandlaughtermusicgroup.com, a safe and knowledgeable spot for musicians who wish to learn more about writing songs and recording great music. This episode is a product of livingcrazybrave.com, another hub where musicians can cultivate new awareness about what it takes to honor the sacred art of making honest music.